What's going on? Welcome to Spears and Ali Overtime on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. It's the bonus episode that we record every single week. We're presented by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. What's up, guys?
Yeah. Hey, I'm just curious because, I'm looking at the screen and our faces, and then, we watch Pat McAfee. We make a lot of fun about AJ Hawk.
Yeah.
Because, basically the guy gets paid to sit there and say maybe 2 words the entire 3.5-hour show. But he's always got a look on his face. And you think AJ Hawk is like, who's the guy? Like, what's the name of the queen that wanted to kill Snow White? Like Mirror, Mirror on the Wall.
Freddie Mercury.
No, that's not, wrong queen. Wrong queen. Good try.
I don't remember, honestly.
Whatever. But those vain people that just like to look at themselves. Do you think that AJ Hawk is just looking at himself on screen, just man?
He's the guy that
So handsome.
Puts the FaceTime the person he's talking to in the bottom corner, and the whole screen is him.
Yeah, he's just not even listening. He's just like, for 3.5 hours, AJ Hawk is just like, you handsome devil.
God damn, I'm good looking.
Queen Grimhilda?
Grimalda? I don't know. When I watch the former great linebacker, AJ Hawk from Ohio State, the Ohio State, when I see him look at himself, it looks like he's looking at himself, and it's just be like, man, if I could date myself, I would so date you.
Would you?
Put you on a plate of gravy and suck you up with a biscuit, AJ Hawk. Oh,
I do enjoy the Pat McAfee show.
Hawk is Buffalo Bill.
To himself.
Yeah.
Everyone had a good Valentine's Day?
My Valentine's Day was fantastic. Kind of did it the day before. Little wild garlic, sea bass there. Magnificent. Nice bottle of wine. Got the lady some flowers. And then we just kind of stayed in and watched a little bit of movie. Went to bed early on the actual Valentine's Day. So excellent.
Yeah. Me,
you don't get all the details.
Yeah.
Let's just say flowers and a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Works. Yeah, go ahead.
Alexis and I solved a murder.
You did.
Yeah. We got these they're these kits, these board games almost they're called Hunt a Killer. And you can get them. You get a bunch of evidence and stuff, and you have to go through. You got to figure out who done it.
The glove fit.
Good. Yeah.
You guys are adorable.
Thank you.
I mean, seriously adorable. I mean that with all sincerity. It's like I can see both of you giggling away in kind of like a glass of wine or some mead while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely some mead.
And just both of you playing a board game and being completely just and totally happy with each other's company. Yeah.
This is kind of crazy. We got so into it because it's immersive, right?
Yeah.
We have these are notes from playing I don't know if you can see that.
Good Lord.
I can see that.
Jeez Louise.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah.
You got great handwriting.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that great. But yeah, I got 6 pages of notes on there were key card buzzes and you were tracking people around the hotel that the murder happened at.
What's the name of this game?
Hunt a Killer.
Well, okay. That's pretty much self-descriptive.
Well, that's the brand, and then they've got a bunch of different ones, but you can get them at Target for $30. Awesome date night, dude. Seriously, you forget it's a board game.
We got to do this.
They break the hell out of the
grab our ladies, order some food in, right? I know, Justin, I'm paying. And as soon as I said order some food in, this was his arms. Oh, I forgot my wallet. But
yeah, how about you did it before?
To Hunt a Killer. I think you bought me a drink.
Risky business.
Did you buy me dinner?
Yeah.
Like a thing of wings and a beer, right?
Yeah.
That was more of an appetizer. I love you, man. It's cool. We're good. We're good. It's fun to make fun. So anyway, you're adorable.
Thank you.
And you're also a nerd.
Thank you.
But I'm a nerd too, just in different ways than you. I don't understand Renaissance Fair. I don't understand it whatsoever.
Oh, I love it.
But you know what? I'm not a closed-minded and an unpredictably stubborn person about things. So I will keep an open mind about the Ren Fair. Oh no, yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Guy gets mad. Oh, here it goes. There's a mad look. Gets mad over the most unpredictable things.
But it's justifiable. Like people driving like idiots. That's
but
something to get mad about.
That's one thing, right? But you've come in to the station before our show, and like, it's like, hey, is that the hill you want to die on? Justin's like, all I see is hills. That's all I see, and I'm dying on all of them.
Like what? Like what?
I don't know. Like if you're looking for, you forget something, and then you're trying to get somebody else to help you get the information that you forgot, but they're not available for whatever reason, and then you get upset because they have the audacity not to be available to get you the information that you forgot to procure from your kitchen counter.
Yes, this is true.
Okay, we should more.
Sure, let's go. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling.
How many hills are we going on? No, man. All right. What about your Valentine's? Did you really take your girlfriend to Subway?
Jimmy John's. Something better.
They were already even faster.
No, so we made the joke on the show that, I'm going to take my lady to a place where they make the food right in front of you.
Yeah.
They do make Subway sandwiches right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not wrong. Or you take your lady to an exclusive members only place that sells food. You take her to the Costco food court.
Amen.
It's technically you're not wrong, but no, I did not take her to Subway. Instead, we went mini golfing at the place that's very near and dear to our hearts. And we both love Raising Cane's chicken fingers. So I ordered us a Caniac combo. I brought it to the place that we were mini golfing at, and we split the Caniac.
You split it?
Yeah, we split it.
You must have been starving.
No, I'm trying to be better in terms of like eating food.
Good.
And so I told her, I'm like, hey, you know what? Rather than getting our own meals, like I really don't want to consume 3,000 calories right now. Can we get something and split it? And she did.
Only 1,500. Way to moderate, man.
Yeah.
In one meal.
So I had
that's like a whole day of calories. Basically, 1,500.
I know. So I had a couple pieces of French fries. I had 2 chicken tenders. She had the drink. And I called it a day.
That's not 1,500 calories, is it? 2 pieces of chicken and some French fries?
No. What I had was, I would probably say 600 calories at most.
What is the calories?
Yeah,
on a Caniac combo.
The one thing about you and Cane's, which I'm a big fan of, is that
shit
1,700.
God,
yeah,
damn,
and that's 1,780 is the calorie count for a Caniac combo.
What do you add for the fact that you asked them to butter the bread on both sides?
Bob,
yeah,
as I call it.
You're just like, you know what? Let's make it an even 2,000. I like round numbers. That way, when we split it,
God,
I know it's
1,000.
1,000.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to do the math. The math is easy. I don't know why I start talking like Bill Simmons all of a sudden. Now, all of a sudden, cousin Sal, he goes and gets the Bob with butter on both sides. He's like, give me 2,000 calories because the math is easy when I cut it in half.
It's all time.
It's all time.
It's all time. Top
Dude,
5.
And that's without that's the regular, that's with the coleslaw. So
yeah.
if you're getting bread, stack an extra 180, 200 on there.
Yeah, 2,000. We're going
Yeah.
to, and you're buttering it on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing you should be buttering on both sides on Valentine's Day is your girlfriend.
Yo.
Well, we had a couple chicken tenders.
I'm not wrong.
No, you're not.
I had 2. She had 2. She boxed up the rest, took it home. So we didn't eat all of it, and it was a great time. But I had a great Valentine's Day. I spent it with someone that I love and I care about a lot. And it was awesome.
Good.
So,
and you also learned some new things today from watching that SNL skit about
Colonel
Christopher
Angus.
Walken. Yeah, it's Colonel Angus.
Colonel Angus.
Which on the show you had no idea what me and Andrew were talking about.
No, I
And
had no idea.
I don't think me and Andrew, literally, we're talking about the cowbell one, and I'm like, and I started thinking about the SNL skit when he's Colonel Angus. And
yeah.
Just keep saying it fast in your head, everybody. And I started laughing. You asked me what it was about, and I'm like, Colonel Angus.
Well, you said Colonel Lingus.
I said Colonel Lingus, but Colonel Angus, same thing. And I always get that's one thing about me. It's like I remember the substance. I might always get the name a little wrong. I know you guys know that about me, right? Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Right. I call him Spencer Lawrence,
yeah.
right? Because he looks like a Spencer.
Yeah. I've noticed you saying Chipotle as well.
Is it not Chipotle?
It's Chipotle.
Chipotle. Okay.
Chipotle. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the first time I've ever said Chipotle.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Wow. It doesn't even sound right. I mean, it's the right way to pronounce it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
sound right coming from you.
It doesn't Chipotle. That doesn't feel good coming off my tongue, baby. So speaking of coming off my tongue, we were talking about Colonel Angus, and your responses because you didn't know what we were talking about, and you're like
10 out of 10.
I'm like,
Expertly landed, my friend.
thank you. And I'm like, you don't know what we're talking about, do you? And we're busted up. And then you said the funniest thing. Is this something I need to look up on the internet? We're like, you should probably look it up. Poor girlfriend.
Colonel Angus. But now I know.
Yeah.
It's a pretty funny bit.
I'm glad you guys had a great Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good, man. A little champagne.
Also, later on in the podcast, we are doing an interview with Kennedy Rettew. She is a sneaker artist in Phoenix, and she actually works with a number of athletes. We're talking about Arizona Diamondbacks. She's done some shoes for some Phoenix Suns players, some ASU athletes. She is very popular on Instagram. Her Instagram handle is Kicks by Kenna, and she does a lot of custom sneakers for people. So if you're ever interested in maybe getting some Vans or Nikes or any other shoes customized in a professional manner, she's an incredible job. We're going to talk to her later on in the show about her career.
So you did it on video with her?
Yep.
Did you put like a cardboard cutout of me and Andrew, or did you just one-on-one it?
I think we one-on-one it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of sneakers, I just saw this yesterday. They're bringing back the Air Force Ones, Magic and Bird. Have you heard that?
Well, I mean, Air Force Ones have
Not
always
the
been
the Converse.
Converse.
I'm sorry, the Converse. What are they called? The like the
All-Stars?
All-Stars.
Yeah.
They had the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, but that's not the most amazing news. They're bringing one for Kobe.
Oh, wow.
Kobe Converse shoe.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah.
Is Converse a part of Nike?
No. Oh, they got bought by somebody. They might have.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, I just read that they're one of the shoes they're going to bring out.
Parent company's Nike.
Yeah. Nike. So Nike, like we've watched the, was it called the Nike movie?
Air.
Remember, it was like Converse and Adidas were like 1 and 2, and then Nike was this fledgling company. And then that was at the end of the movie. Actually, when they did the credits of what happened after they signed Michael Jordan, was eventually Nike bought Converse.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Converse was over here trying to get Michael Jordan, right? Because they already had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Was Dr. J a part of it too?
Dr. J was part of it too. And I mean, they had all the stars. I mean, Converse was the #1 basketball shoe in 1984-5.
And in that movie, Adidas, I mean, Michael Jordan loved Adidas, wore all the tracksuits, was all on Adidas. But what made Nike stand out above everyone else, including Converse, was that Michael Jordan was the guy. He wasn't sharing it with anybody else. And you even see in the movie Air, they're talking about, okay, we can't afford these top draft picks. So let's look at the middle of the first round and get about 2 or 3 guys. And Sonny Vaccaro was like, no, you got to put all of your money
into a little more than we have,
and plus a little more into Michael Jordan. You have to invest in this guy. And sure enough, they did. And I think it paid off pretty well for them.
I would say so.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the mutual, it looked like an amicable splitting between, because if after Michael Jordan, the next superstar that they really signed, I would say, is Tiger Woods. And Tiger just separated from Nike, or they separated from each other. And now he started his own apparel company, Sunday Red. And actually, I kind of saw the design and the way the shirt is made. It looked kind of, I might get one of those.
And it's the logo is going to.
Is it wrong to say, hey, you got that in blue?
What?
Can you get a Sunday Red?
Red and blue?
Yeah. It look better in blue.
It looks, the logo, it's gotten mixed reviews. Tiger's new logo.
The logo or the brand, or like the actual clothing?
Both. One logo, it doesn't look like it's quite centered on the.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it looks like it's kind of like off to the side. But the logo itself, I mean, it looks kind of like Greg Norman's shark logo, but tiger form.
Yeah.
And someone said if you flip it at a 90-degree angle, it looks like a vertebrae. And Tiger in his history with back surgeries, back injuries. I'm like, I wonder if that has anything to do with it. That'd be cool if it was, but I think it's a cool logo. And a lot of people were saying that maybe he should go the silhouette route. kind of like Michael Jordan. But I'm like,
Mm.
I don't think that he wanted to go the silhouette route because who has a silhouette logo is Phil Mickelson. And maybe he doesn't want to follow the trends, make it seem like Phil Mickelson started something before Tiger Woods. I don't know. But point is, I think the logo is great. And I think it's going to take a little bit to catch on, but eventually it'll be one of the more prominent logos in the sport of golf.
I mean, do you need a silhouette logo when you're Tiger Woods?
Yeah, you could use, Tiger Woods fist pumping. We've seen some mock logos, Tiger Woods fist pumping, or when he won the 2019 Masters, when the putt went in, when he raised up his arms and he's holding the putter.
Sure.
But I think Phil Mickelson, his logo is a guy holding up arms. So
yeah, after he just won a bet or lost a bet.
Yeah,
that's Phil Mickelson.
Well, don't you have a hat, Tiger Woods hat? Like it's the TW.
Yeah, the TW. That's all Nike.
That yeah.
That's a Nike logo.
If you're as recognizable as Tiger Woods, do you need a silhouette logo, or does the Tiger work?
I think the Tiger works. So
I would like to see if you had a silhouette, maybe like the backswing and the club is like you kind of make it so it looks like he's twirling it. To me, that's the Tiger Woods move. It's like he hits a great shot and he kind of twirls his club after he finishes a stroke. And that's what makes the fist bump. Obviously, those are the two big ones. Have you ever, speaking of logos, you ever seen the Chicago Bulls logo and put it upside down?
Doesn't it look like a robot
having sex with the crab?
Yeah.
Look. You'll never be able to look at the Bulls logo again the same way. It's turn it upside down and it'll delight you.
It'll delight you. I see that.
Yeah.
Someone also said on Twitter, they're like, I took my cousin to KFC and they said, why is his body so little? And they're like, that's not the body, that's the bow that he's wearing. If you look at the KFC logo, the bow that he's wearing, it makes it look like he's like a stick figure, and he's got a huge head.
Oh, interesting.
I can't look at the KFC logo.
I gotta look at that again.
But anyways, all right. So I want to
ASU bad guys.
Yeah. So this weekend, Arizona is playing against ASU in basketball. It's the last time these two teams will play at McHale Center as Pac-12 teams. Both will be going to the Big 12 next season. Very excited about Arizona basketball's move to the new conference. And, I think Arizona, their biggest rival in basketball is UCLA. There's no doubt about that. But ASU, they've had some moments in this rivalry. We saw last season, was it Desmond Cambridge put up that 60-footer half-court shot at McHale Center, just absolutely stunned everyone. I've never seen Bobby Hurley more happy in my whole life. I mean, he was super stoked. It was kind of a weird out-of-body effect watching that game last year and how the half-court shot went down.
You want to get a sensation of what it's like for having 13,000 people at the same time say, you got to be fucking kidding me. It was that moment.
100%.
Like, are you seriously fucking kidding me?
100%.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't put Desmond Cambridge as an Arizona villain. When you think about rivalries, what makes rivalries go, there's always got to be a villain. There's always someone on the other side that you absolutely do not like. Yes, Desmond Cambridge made that 60-footer, but I don't think Desmond Cambridge's name will be talked about amongst Arizona fans. Maybe for ASU fans. ASU fans will always be like, hey, remember Desmond Cambridge's 60-footer?
Yeah.
That was awesome. Arizona fans, I guarantee you can go to McHale Center tomorrow and ask, who is Desmond Cambridge? Hardly anybody's going to remember who that guy is. But when you think about ASU players who just gave Arizona problems, people that Arizona fans hate, what comes to mind?
I mean, you got, for me, you got the James Hardens, you got the Eddie Houses. I mean, until they transferred to Kansas, I mean, Remy Martin did a good job playing the villain. By the way, when you think about ASU fans and they're like, oh, they remember Desmond Cambridge, it's like, well, they don't have a lot to choose from because we literally kick their ass most of the time. So it's easy for an ASU fan to be like, oh, I remember that moment, because there wasn't a lot of moments to remember. You just have those, a couple.
There was the Aaron Gordon, Caleb Tarczewski, and those teams. Didn't they go up to Tempe one year and lose?
Not that I remember, but maybe. I mean, look, it's a rivalry game, so anything can happen. And if Arizona doesn't bring their A game on Saturday night, I mean, ASU is, they don't shoot great. They don't really rebound. They're small, but they're frisky. They put a lot of pressure on you. They're pressing all the time. you create turnovers and Arizona gets 3-pointer happy, and you keep ASU in that game and they start believing they can win, then Arizona's going to be in for a nail biter. They need to go in and dominate from the beginning, take care of the ball, make sure that ASU's frenetic pace doesn't make Arizona play at frenetic pace. And if Arizona plays the kind of basketball they've been playing the last, 2-3 weeks, they're going to be just fine. But we were talking about this on the show about there are rivalries of your favorite teams that are from the past that were, just absolutely competitive, and you absolutely hated the team that was going against your team, and you absolutely hated one of the star players going against your star player in your team. And I gave you the example of Roger Staubach. Hated him. I still hate the Cowboys. But Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson, Harvey Martin, Randy White, I think of those guys and I'm like, man, those guys were so good. I don't have the same feeling in my heart for those players. I still hate Dallas. Boston Celtics, they played our Lakers back in the 80s. This is before your guys' time. And
was TV in color back then?
It was in color. But, in 1980.
Tape delay?
Tape delay. The NBA Finals was playing on tape delay. Sixers, Lakers. That's the Game 6 where Kareem was hurt in Philadelphia, where Magic played center, scored 42 points, had like 10 assists and like 8 rebounds. One of the greatest performances of all time, and it was on tape delay. You couldn't watch it until 10:30 at night in Tucson.
Damn.
So, but with the Lakers, I love Magic Johnson. Magic's always going to be my favorite player, number 32, my favorite number, him, Franco, my birthday, all that. I hated Larry Bird because Larry Bird was the enemy of Magic Johnson. And, now still fuck Boston, right? Seriously.
Fuck Boston.
Fuck Boston. That feels better. Instead of bleep Boston, I'm glad we can say it on overtime. Like, it just feels good to get out. A little air out of the balloon. Fuck Boston. I love Larry Bird. Still don't like Danny Ainge. Never like Danny Ainge because that guy just sucks. But Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, but especially Larry Bird, man. I love Larry Bird.
Yeah.
And when Magic was going through the HIV thing, the guy that stood next to him, the moment I started loving Larry Bird was right then. Right. And the way they became friends, enemies to friends. I love Larry Bird. Now, all that being said, I'm thinking about the nostalgia and thinking back, and I'm like, is there anybody that's played for ASU in any sport that I look back on and I'm like, oh man, that guy was really good. I love that guy. And the answer is a resounding fuck no. I still don't like any of them. Mark Malone played for a quarterback for the Devils. He became a Pittsburgh Steeler. I only like him as a Steeler. I still don't like him as a Sun Devil. He actually sucked for the Steelers too. He did look like Magnum. So you give him that. But, there's like John Jefferson played for the Chargers. He was an ASU guy, Reggie Jackson. But like, is there the same feeling with like the Cowboys or the Celtics where I'm like, man, I love those guys. Those were good games, a really awesome era in that particular sport. Nah. And you can't bring up Pat Tillman, okay? Yes. Love Pat Tillman, respect for him for what he did away from ASU.
Yeah.
But do you guys have like one? Is it possible as an Arizona fan? Because I feel like when you're born in Tucson, the doctor slaps you, so you start crying and then says, fuck ASU, and then hands it to the mother, right? Yeah. That's really what I think. Like in Pittsburgh, they put every baby in a terrible towel. Here, every doctor tells every baby, the first words they hear is fuck ASU.
Or bear down, which is the same thing.
Or both.
They're both.
Or both. So do you guys have any? I mean, you guys are younger, but you guys look back and you're like, yeah, that guy that played ASU, I love that guy.
Well, I would say James Harden.
Seriously?
You love James Harden?
What?
Well, now that I think about it,
I'm going to call the doctor right now.
I think honestly, those teams, it was just more out of respect because they were actually really good. And it was interesting to see in that time frame because we're getting to the post Lute Olson era, and Herb Sendek was kind of getting things going at ASU. And I'll never forget, it was the Kevin O'Neill year where he took over as the interim head coach, and the Wildcats go up to Tempe, and Arizona has Jordan Hill, Chase Budinger, Jared Bayless was on that team too. And ASU beat Arizona, and it was like an overtime game. It was a grinded out game. But in years past, Arizona had always dominated ASU. And it was just so weird to me seeing an ASU team not only take Arizona all the way down to the wire, but end up winning a very close game. And then the years after that, ASU just had their number. Jeff Pendergraph, James Harden, Ty Abbott. These guys were really good players ASU just simply, they just had a better team at that time. They really were. And I mean, I'll never forget one year where it was James Harden's last year. Jeff Pendergraph it felt like he was there for like a decade. And they actually went into the season as a preseason top 25 team, which has never happened at ASU. And the Sun Devils were just such a fun team to watch. Yes, did they beat Arizona? 100%. But those guards were pretty fun to watch. And then eventually Sean Miller came along, got some rough and really tough guys. And then Kevin Parham established the no easy buckets movement by preventing Ty Abbott from getting an easy layup or dunk. And from that point on, I don't really recall ASU getting Arizona many times.
Do you seriously now look back at James Harden and you have fondness in your heart for him as a Sun Devil?
Yeah, because it felt like he played defense then. Doesn't really play defense anymore in the NBA.
Were you watching the games?
Yeah, James Harden was a great defender.
Is this the time where your parents took you to the game and you had the earphones on and so the noise was too loud?
I wouldn't say great defender,
Yeah.
but it seemed like he gave a shit when he was playing defense.
Man,
but
I don't know about that. I just those games drove me nuts because I always felt like he was always going to go left and we kept playing his right hand. I don't think I've ever screamed any phrase more at McHale Center than he's left-handed when James Harden was here. Really pissed me off. Yeah. So that's it, huh? James Harden is your guy.
It was a really long-winded way to say, yeah, not really.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, I don't really I didn't have any hatred for any ASU player. Maybe Derek Glasser.
Oh yeah.
He was one that kind of I don't know why Derek Glasser just had a punchable face. Whenever you'd watch him on TV, I don't know why. I just like, damn it, that Derek Glasser guy. Why is he on my TV? Get him off.
Forever unpredictable, Justin Spears, right? Of all the guys you could name, the guy that really, really got under his skin was Derek Glasser.
Derek Glasser.
Yeah. And he played on some god-awful ASU teams too.
Also, well, actually, no, I take my James Harden response back.
You're good. Well done.
Ike Diagu.
Ike
Diagu is an all-time ASU player. He had a cup of coffee in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
But it was more known for playing college basketball. One of the top players in the Pac-10 at the time. And the Pac-10 was loaded from top to bottom. I mean, you look at every single and not only was the Pac-10 loaded and had good teams, but fan bases showed up to games. Like there was a point in time for the kids listening and watching at home. The Pac-10 was the best conference in college basketball.
Yeah. Top to bottom. And,
best conference in college basketball.
I mean, believe it or not.
Even over the Big East and the ACC at one point in time.
Before Arizona's rise to prominence under Lute Olson during the mid-'80s and, a little bit after that, a little bit before it, Oregon State was one of the best teams in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
They were really good. The coach was Larry Miller. I can't remember right now.
I was going to say Larry Scott, but that's the old commissioner.
Nah, we'll look it up. But he was a really good coach. And if there was one ASU guy that I kind of liked, it's only because he played for the Lakers, and that's Byron Scott.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
played with Showtime.
I didn't like him for ASU. I liked him. I'm like, perfect. ASU guy gets drafted by Clippers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and wallow in there. And then the Lakers are like, hey, we're trading Norm Nixon for Byron Scott. I'm like, stop wallowing. Come on, Byron.
Fat Lever played at Pueblo High School. And went to ASU.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably the only guy, only because he played in Tucson. And think about that. You had one of the best guards in the country. There was a time where he chose ASU over U of A. Yeah, it was a dark time in Arizona basketball. Right after Fred, that Ben Lindsay year we don't talk about it, but it's crazy. And, you talk about like when the Pac-12 was good. I'm going to give you guys just a quick 3 minutes. I'm going to fix college athletics. You guys ready for this?
Sure.
So right now, the NCAA is completely feckless, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's the transfer portal, no feck at all.
No fecks given.
No fecks whatsoever. A bunch of empty suits, and they don't are afraid of their own shadow, and whether it's the transfer portal or NIL, there's really no rules around it. They're afraid that they can't limit anything in any way. There's lawsuits flying left and right. They are slow moving, Justin. Hey,
Sorry.
What's up?
I'm multitasking.
Why? What is so important right now?
I got to record another podcast after this.
You do?
Yeah.
But you have to get the message out now.
Yes.
You do. Do you though? Do you?
Continue.
Okay. Lost my train of thought. So NIL, transfer portal, and then you've got all this conference realignment. And the problem is because college athletics really is a monopoly, anything they try to do to regulate is an antitrust violation. Whether that's if they can't collectively negotiate a TV contract for everybody, every conference is on their own. That's what's led to a lot of the realignment. You can't limit the transfer portal. Like if your coach leaves, transfer portal opens, but you can't go with the coach that left. You can go anywhere else. That's limiting players' movement. That might be seen as an antitrust violation. Name, image, and like all of this, what's academically related, that Alston case, like schools can't say this is what you get with your scholarship and it's uniform across every school. Nope, that's an antitrust violation. The way you get rid of an antitrust violation is you break up the monopoly and you have separate competitors. And what we've learned is that it is a dog-eat-dog world, and everybody but the SEC and the Big Ten are eating milk-bone underwear, right? And they are sharks, and you cannot trust anything they say or do. There's no alliance. There's no shaking hands. There's no camaraderie. They are going to do what is in the economic best interest of their conference and their member schools only. And who the fuck cares about everybody else? And right now you're going to see another movement. There's going to be some poaching of ACC teams by both the Big Ten. Probably see like North Carolina and Virginia go to the Big Ten because they're high academic institutions. They fit the Big Ten model. And you're going to see like Clemson and Florida State go to the SEC. Maybe the schools that are remaining go to the Big 12. And there's still another shift. If I had my way and I was a college athletics czar for a day, number one, I'd make everything other than football and basketball regional, right? You don't have to be in the same conference in softball as you are in football. Number two, I would get the ACC, the Big 12, what's remaining of the Pac-12, and all the Group of Five conferences, and say, you know what, we're gonna create our own entity. We do not play the Big Ten, and we do not play the SEC. We have our own March Madness. We have our own college football playoff. Now, what does that do? Now that breaks up any monopoly because you have a competitor in the Big Ten and SEC. And by the way, good luck just playing each other. The other thing is you now can collectively bargain for one TV contract that benefits all. So no more of this realignment stuff because everybody's getting whatever their equitable share of TV revenue is. You can also say you can put rules around NIL. Again, because there's no antitrust violation because the Big Ten and SEC can do it somewhat different. I mean, there's so many people, there's so many players that can go play for those leagues. You've got everybody else. And if they would just bandy together and work together to ostracize the Big Ten and the SEC, they would have more ability to control what's going on with the craziness of college athletics today. They would be able to get probably a better TV deal. I mean, because TV is inventory for ESPN and Fox and CBS and NBC. Can you imagine how powerful if you had like, okay, you can have as many SEC and Big Ten games as you want. Yeah. Everybody else we're negotiating as one. You know, what's part of the scholarship? Everybody's on equal footing. What is the NIL rules? We can have NIL rules so it can be sustainable.
Yeah.
What maybe the players get the revenue share off of the tournaments, off of the TV rights, whatever. Everything is open. It makes it much cleaner. And frankly, you stop being continuously cuckolded by the SEC and Big Ten. Because again, those leagues don't care. They don't care about the pageantry of college athletics. They don't care. They can say they care about the student athlete all they want. Yeah. You can't tell me you care about the student athlete when your women's gymnastics team is going from Westwood, California to Lafayette, Indiana, or New Jersey to play Rutgers. You just can't tell me that doesn't have an impact. You can't tell me that they're actually going to school, that the scholarship really has value other than the fact that they get meals and whatnot. So That's my solution. You guys poke holes in it.
No, I was saying, going back to your point about separating the group of 5 from some of these other power conferences, and they have their own national championship.
Well, group of 5, Big 12, ACC, and what's left of the Pac-12. I'm saying basically every Division I football program other than the SEC and Big 10 need to come together and say, we're doing it on our own.
Okay. Because I was going to say, if you're separating the two, how do you determine who's truly a national champion? But sorry, you clarified that.
Yeah, exactly. So you still can have a college football playoff with 12 teams, right? So let's say there's whatever, 8 conferences, right?
Yeah.
So 8 conferences, every champion in each conference, and forget about like who's better and the scheduling. Look, in the NFL, if you win the NFC South, you get even at 9-8, and there's a NFC West team that's got a 12-5 record, but they finished second. You finish second. That's your conference. Things change. Make every conference champion, get them an automatic bid in college football, the 12-team playoff, and then have like 5 or whatever, 4 at-large teams that is basically on the highest rank, regardless of conference, or make it 16 teams, whatever you want to do. And you know what? Look, Big 10, talk about track record of most overrated basketball teams every single year in college.
Amen,
right?
They show their ass in the tournament every year.
Every year. And the only team that I'm going to give like a little bit of grace to is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, because he always seems to be able to grind himself to a Sweet 16. Everybody else, fucking overrated.
Purdue. Yeah. How many times have they lost to a New Jersey team?
Right. In the first or second round. SEC, their basketball's okay. I mean, the Auburn's good this year. They got, Alabama. They fine. But you're telling me, like, do you guys we go to the TV, we're going to watch Duke and North Carolina, right? That's a game like we'll watch. And there's other things, that we can, other examples of that. I can't think of one, like I got a must-see SEC basketball. You're telling me
Kentucky?
Okay,
Kentucky, Florida, or something like that. Kentucky, LSU.
Nah, not really. I mean, Kentucky,
sure. Alabama now. Kentucky, Auburn.
You make sure to go watch that when that's on. I mean, they're good games. It's okay. So
no.
Yeah. But you'll watch Duke and North Carolina, right?
Sure.
It's part of it, right?
Sure.
You may watch.
But I also feel like that also comes with media marketing, because Duke, North Carolina is such a prominent rivalry that no matter how the rivalry goes, and it doesn't seem the same without Coach K or another prominent coach on North Carolina's sideline, but it's still a really good rivalry that it's always going to be spoon-fed to us and hyped up leading up to the game, where Kentucky, Alabama, Kentucky, LSU, or Kentucky, Florida isn't really at the same level.
ESPN's trying, man, but it's just not holding. And you're right, TV does create a lot of the narrative. But from my perspective, if you had a March Madness and the Big 10 and SEC weren't part of it, do you think that would diminish the tournament at all?
Sure.
No, I don't think so at all. Not whatsoever.
No?
Not whatsoever. And frankly, you may keep some of those teams like Clemson and Florida State from going to the SEC. You may keep some of those schools like Virginia, North Carolina from going to the Big 10. If you're like, well, you're not, you guys can do your own March Madness. We're going to do ours.
Yeah.
Right. You know who won the national championship last year? Connecticut. You know who won a year before? Baylor. That wasn't a team in the SEC or the Big 10.
That's true.
Right. So
when's the last time an SEC won the tournament?
I want to say Florida, when they went back to back with Billy Donovan.
Kentucky
with
Anthony Davis.
They won after Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was 2012. The Florida with Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer, Al Horford. That was like 2007-8.
What a great team that was.
It was.
And they came back.
Mm-hmm.
They came back. So the last time an SEC team won the national championship, was it 2012?
I believe so.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
And when was the last time a Big 10 team won the national championship? Michigan State.
Michigan won in 2015.
Yeah.
Well,
I think something like that.
First of all, kudos to you. I'm shocked.
Why?
If it's not obvious, then I don't know if I can help anybody. Look at the screen. My guy did a board game of trying to find a murderer on Valentine's Day. And instead of going to like Arizona basketball, women's or men, or baseball or softball, he's going to the Renaissance Fair on Saturday. So do I need to say more? Anyway, I'm giving you
That's
credit.
fair.
Yeah.
So most recent national
Or no.
championship winners, UConn, Kansas, Baylor, Virginia, Villanova, North Carolina, Villanova, Duke, UConn, Louisville, Kentucky, 2012, UConn, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Florida in back-to-back years, North Carolina, UConn, Syracuse, Maryland, Duke, Michigan
There
State.
you go. What year is Michigan State?
The year Michigan State won it. Is Maryland in 2002? Were they ACC?
I think they were.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah.
So Michigan State was in 2000.
So the Big Ten hasn't won it since 2000.
Yeah, and my apologies. They were the runner-up in 2018 and 2013.
Okay.
So I split the diff.
That's okay. That's
Kind of.
You got close
I
though,
did.
which is still very impressive.
I just remember that German kid that was on their squad. He was like
Wagner.
9 feet tall. Yeah.
Franz Wagner.
Franz Wagner. His brother really good with Orlando.
Mo Wagner.
Mo Wagner. Yeah. Franz Wagner got drafted by the Lakers.
You say Orlando.
Wagner. It's the only time this German comes out with anybody named Wagner from Germany.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's, just as German is like, oh, Franz Wagner. Very, very good basketball game.
No, my girlfriend,
Achtung.
she likes this thing. It's called Gudetama. And apparently it's like Hello Kitty.
It's that egg thing.
Yeah, it's an egg. It's like Hello Kitty, but it's an egg. And on the back of every like Gudetama product they have, it has like a little egg butt, like two little butt cheeks. It's adorable.
Can you send a picture? Because I want to know. I don't want to know what this is.
Yeah, Gudetama is very popular, I think, in Asia.
Yeah.
I think it's big in Japan, if I'm not mistaken. But
like Alphaville.
it is very popular. And when she brought it up to me, I was like, "Oh, Gudentama." Like she was like, she was like, "Oh my gosh, your German really came out there." I was like, "That's not what it's called, Gudentama." And she's like, "No, it's Gudetama, not Gudentama."
Gudentama.
That's funny. The fact that I know your girlfriend and I think she's very bright, intelligent young woman who's got a great personality. If it was somebody I didn't know, I would be like, "What?" So she plays with like toys that little girls play with, like demographic is between 10 and 11.
Well, they're not like toys. You can have like Gudetama like chapstick.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
like a
that.
mascot, but it's like a mascot for itself. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you learn something every day.
A
Gudentama.
Gudetama purse.
Gudentama.
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 But if we just kind of circle back, I mean, if you guys think about it, we talk about cojones.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a lot of cojones, and it's going to take a lot of leadership, and it's going to take people coming together and working for the collective instead of for themselves individually. You would put the SEC and Big Ten on its heels.
Yeah.
They may be begging to join you after a few years, and because you have the majority of the inventory that the networks want, your ability to negotiate those TV deals is going to be incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody separates it. They have to, because the Supreme Court says you can't do it. But by creating different college leagues, look, let the Big Ten and the SEC, let them have employees. They make their college. Maybe we can keep, while the athletes should benefit from what they do, you guys can have your athletes as employees. We'll have NIL deals where, the school pays, maybe a baseline of so much money for you being at the school. That's part of this revenue sharing with TV deals and other things. And then maybe there's some incentives based on academics. You get a bonus for this, you get a bonus for, you can basically have a structure as long as you're separate. And I'm saying maybe it's time to be separate. And I think you'd be surprised at how many schools that are currently going into the Big Ten or part of the SEC who may want to come back.
All right. Before we get out of here and get to our interview with Kennedy Rettew, earlier this week, EA Sports announced that they are releasing a college football video game. The full launch, or all the details regarding the game will be released in May. I'm assuming it will be officially released in August. Usually that's when Madden comes out. That's always when NCAA came out as well. But man, EA Sports, I mean, the last college football game I think was 2014.
Yeah, NCAA 14.
Yeah, with Denard Robinson on the cover.
It is mad hard to get your hands on one of those discs. They're going for like over market price, like what they used to sell. Like it was like $50-$60.
Mm-hmm.
It is, you pay $100 for NCAA 14 in some cases.
Is that right?
Yeah, I had a bunch of people when COVID hit, and they're like, "Well, I'm playing a lot of video games. I
Yeah.
want to start up NCAA football." I had a few people reach out to me and asking me, "Do you have NCAA?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got all the NCAAs from my PS2, PS3, and they were offering me some pretty serious money for it."
Did you take the money?
No.
You kept
I
it.
want to keep NCAA.
So
Someone's selling a sealed copy of NCAA Football 14 for the Xbox 360 on eBay right now for $1,000.
wow.
Yeah,
Well,
a used copy on eBay, 120.
wait a minute. It's not that the $1,000 surprises me. Somebody bought 2014 NCAA football
Didn't
and
open
never
it?
opened it. Talk
Maybe
about
they knew something.
that's a kid that had a lack of gratitude and appreciation for what his parents just bought him.
Or
her.
a genius.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or somebody resealed it and said it's
resealed.
I
That's
feel like
the
that's
thing.
probably most likely.
Yeah, how would you know?
Yeah.
Right. If you
Mhm.
resealed it, you're like, it's never been open since I resealed it.
Yeah.
Just leave out the last part.
Yeah,
How would you
Watch
know?
them open it up, and it's
Yeah.
like,
there's probably like a Paw Patrol DVD. Inside.
what else? It's gonna be like the Simpsons movie or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. I was thinking something Wiggles related, but
Yeah.
we've gone through the Wiggles in depth. You guys get really excited about NCAA football, and I don't know.
I'm
Was that
excited.
like your guys' number one sports game? Because I never really played it because I played Madden.
I don't know if it was my number. It was definitely up there because I played Madden growing up. But then I forget. I think I had like NCAA 04 or 07 or something. I can't remember. And it was just different in like kind of an arcadey way, where Madden was very like, here's the game. This is like how a real game would be played. You know, call your plays in the way like you know, NCAA was that, but it allowed for some goofy stuff. Like you could have mascot games. You could have Wilbur go up against Sparky.
Yeah.
Like a whole team of Sparkies and a whole team of Wilburs.
Is that right?
Yeah, and because the mascots are mascots, they were all just like juiced to the limit. So they were all like 99 overall ratings, and you could play some seriously weird, almost like IFL style football.
Yeah. My favorite matchup was I'd always play this all the time. It was the Syracuse Orange versus the Stanford Tree.
Are you guys serious? Like
100%,
you
dude.
enjoyed playing
Absolutely.
the mascots?
Yeah.
100%, because you could straight up, you could have the ball at like the 5-yard line and throw a touchdown that never hit the ground 95 yards if you like timed it right and everything.
So if you played like the Syracuse Orange against the Stanford Cardinal, the tree. If the tree hit the orange really hard, would juice come out?
I wish.
I don't remember that.
I wish. But I mean, yeah, like Andrew said, all their player ratings were just all juiced up.
Yeah.
So you were playing like it was the best football ever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you're making a lot of big time plays.
You'd kick off, and Wilbur would kick off, and it would go into the stands every single time.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like really. I mean, I want to play football, so maybe I'm just a nerd, but just like it sounds totally ridiculous.
It was. I'm
Yeah.
not telling you you're wrong. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Why
but
did
it was
they?
Great.
Maybe you guys know this. Maybe I don't know this, but you guys said that they didn't use the players' real names.
Yeah.
I
In
don't remember
NCAA
that
football.
honestly. Is
Name,
that
image,
how it
likeness.
was?
Yeah, name, image, likeness.
But they didn't
Yeah.
use it.
They didn't use. I
It
mean,
would
they
just
used the
be
players'
like
numbers.
Yeah.
They would give like a okay, for instance, if they create this game, or they are going to create this game, but for like Noah Fafita, right? Number 11, kind of shorter in statue, maybe has longer hair, and is obviously brown skinned. So the player that is the quarterback for the U of A in the game wouldn't have a name. It would just be QB number 11, but they would also give the traits to make it look like Noah Fafita.
Is that why they got in? That was the issue with name, image, and likeness. Why wouldn't they just make it so that it was like not the traits of the player?
Well, and I think you could customize it yourself, right? Like
Yeah, you could
go
change the
in and
roster.
give them names and stuff. But yeah,
Is this because of the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit?
Yeah.
Is that what?
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
Ed O'Bannon's the reason why. Was it Ed or Charles?
It was Ed.
It was Ed. Okay.
Yeah.
Ed O'Bannon is the reason why NCAA no longer existed for that 10.
What I'm
year
curious
period.
about, I'm going to ask the people at U of A. So so now they're going to use the names if they
Presumably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that players, they are going to sign a waiver that allows NCAA to use their name, or EA Sports to use their name, and I think they might actually get a little bit of money from it.
I think, man, talk about stories. That might be a really good behind the scenes story.
I'm already looking into it.
It's like, well, how does it work? And then if you think about EA, which has become this, monster of video gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, are they literally sending out contracts to every single player at every school to be able to use their name, image, and likeness? And if you don't sign it, then let's say, Noah Fafita doesn't sign it, then the quarterback's going to be a 6'5" white guy. Right?
I would imagine it's probably like an opt-in thing, but I don't know.
You got to get paid. That's the only way they could do it, is if they're going to use the name, you got to be able to, you have to pay the players. And it's like, this is the deal. If you don't want to do it, fine, but we're going to pay X amount to use your name, image, and likeness in the game.
And I'm sure a lot of the players are like, yeah, sign me up. I want to be in a video game so bad.
Hell
Even if
yeah.
I get paid a penny, a dime. Like, I don't think T-Mac and Noah Fafita are really hurting for money right now. But it'd be cool to say, like, yeah, I'm in a video game.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, so now you can play like different bowl games. Like you can play in the Arizona Bowl with a new game. I don't remember getting a letter being like, can we use your guys' brand to play in the Arizona Bowl? Now, much like what you just said, I'd be like, here, just give us a dime. We want to be in the game.
Yeah.
Right. It's cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll show the taco touchdown after every touchdown. There's a taco that drops. Right. But,
imagine the Pop-Tart mascot.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
well, I think in the games, at least the old ones, right? They had the bowl games, but they weren't branded necessarily. It wasn't like, the this and that Rose Bowl, the this and that. Like, it was just, this is the Rose Bowl.
That's a trademark, is the Rose Bowl. Arizona Bowl is a trademark.
Yeah.
So you have,
but it wouldn't be, I guess you wouldn't have to worry about title sponsors, right? Like it wouldn't be the Barstool Sports Arizona Bowl in the game. It would just be, oh, here's the Arizona Bowl.
I probably should ask our executive director if we just signed all our rights away. But nonetheless, like you said, the money is insignificant to the fact that a bowl game that we brought back to Tucson in 2015 is going to be part of NCAA college football.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really cool.
It's great publicity too. And I don't know if maybe you guys could tell me I'm crazy, but I mean, is it kind of like the Super Bowl halftime show? Like, they didn't really pay Usher anything to do
nobody really gets paid anything to do those.
But in terms of streaming sales and all the endorsements and things that come along with the Super Bowl halftime show, it's almost like, yeah, you don't have to pay me anything because it's going to be worth it in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I saw was, I think Usher got like $600 and something.
Yeah.
Maybe like they paid some expenses for that day for the Super Bowl, but he's going to make over $10 million or $100 million, and it's $100 million in streaming.
Yeah, they Shohei Ohtani'd him.
Yeah. What does that mean?
They paid him very little up front, and he's going to get everything on the back end.
Back end.
Yeah. Or you could do what Justin wants to do with his young lad when he's born, is give him Tommy John surgery when he's 2.
Yeah.
Make him play baseball all year round, despite what we heard from Coach Hale with Arizona baseball, multi-sport athletes. And Justin is convinced he's going to be Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to play baseball year round. There's golfing season too.
But it's, just break his arm at 2 and, get that Tommy John thing going.
Yep. His elbows will be backwards by the time he's 6.
Throwing gas at T-ball.
T-ball.
Gas.
T-ball. Yeah. Do you guys think, like, with the college football game, what are the conferences going to look like? Are they still going to have a pack in the game?
I doubt
it. Because by then
it'll be the new conferences.
Well, yeah, exactly. So like you have Big 12 logos on that Arizona Stadium, and stuff. But what about like Wazoo and Oregon State?
They'll have the pack too.
Will it just be packed? Would it just be pack?
I don't know. I don't know what the logo is going to look. I don't think they know what the logo is going to look like.
That's true.
But it's easy. It's really easy. It's just like, whiteout. Remember when we used to, maybe you guys don't remember, we used to have to type on a typewriter. There was no computer. And if you messed up, you had to like use whiteout.
And you were sitting with the monks in the abbey.
Drinking mead. And it wasn't a Renaissance fair. It was just town.
It was real fucking life.
Town. Or you're going to town.
Yeah.
But all they got to do is just white out the one, right? It's just pack and then
Yeah.
get
It's
rid of the
really
one.
coarsely
And it's like
scribbled
just
out.
2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
I
would
don't know,
be
man.
genius.
Well, my
If their new logo was Pac-12 with like an X over the 1.
Yeah. Well, I just wonder because, like, presumably they're going to have modes where it's like, oh, take your team through the season and try to get to the college football playoff. I don't know. Nothing's been announced. But for Wazoo and Oregon State fans, what the hell does that look like? Like, who the fuck do you play if you're
Mountain West? They have the schedule for next
Yeah.
year already.
And they'll have
That's
their
true.
schedule.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I don't think it's changed because the conference, it's got like there's a grandfather provision of like at least 2 years.
Mhm.
I think if Washington State or Oregon State, whichever wins, if they are ranked high enough, they're going to be in the 12-team playoff.
Yo.
And they get to split all that money between two
Two
schools.
Maybe that's a feature in the game. They have like a conference realignment.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. You build your own conferences.
Build your own conference.
They've got like a mode called backdoor negotiations.
Do you want to form an alliance?
Yeah.
Press X
Yes.
to confirm.
Would you like to meet with players during the dead period?
Yeah.
You want to tamper?
Well, that's only a feature if you're ASU.
And I'm gonna get so mad when I'm like, you know what? I'm starting dynasty mode. You know what? Let me go with Kent State. If you're not about the group of 5 teams in dynasty mode, then you're not about it. You're not about the grind. It's so easy to pick Ohio State or those heavy hitters and just pick up where they left off and just continue the dynasty. It takes a true man. It takes a true dynasty builder to build your dynasty at Kent State. The last NCAA game I played, I had Nevada,
Nice.
and I made Reno, Nevada, the mecca of college football. And I won a national championship with Colin Kaepernick.
Let's go.
What level are you at?
With like the rating level, the
No, but
difficulty
that's
level,
the
or
difficulty level, yeah.
hard or whatever it is. I
You
mean,
went the hardest
it's
level?
I mean, not like they have like all American level,
Yeah.
where it's like so hard.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Nevada's not winning that one.
no.
Nevada's-
Sorry, no offense, but
I keep it challenged, but also I want to be successful at the same time.
you know how I'm guessing they had this mode too, where you could take players from other teams and put them on your team.
Probably.
Is there a function on the new game where it's like, oh, you've been reported for tampering?
or
That player was not in the portal.
or my star quarterback from Kent State's going to Ohio State because he accepted a $10 million NIL deal.
Dude, if there's like some level of simulation that can accommodate for all that, this game would be crazy. You know, like you're the head coach of wherever, or you're the I guess the athletic director at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, like your coach leaves for somewhere and like your whole O-line is gone. You're like, well, shit. And you got to rebuild it again. Like that would be actually crazy if there was like a simulation.
You're in conference commissioner mode. It's time to renegotiate your TV deal. How many teams can you keep in your conference?
Yeah.
It would be actually cool. Like the idea I have of everybody splitting off and united against the Big Ten and the SEC.
Mm.
If you could do that mode, if we could actually simulate what would happen. UCLA's AD is calling and wondering if they can come back and reconfigure the Pac-12.
It could be crazy, man. And I'm really worried about this, or it could suck because I loved those games. I mean, Justin loved those games. If this game blows, that would really
Still
fucking
got
suck.
Madden. I'm a surprise. I was a surprise convert to FIFA soccer. Really enjoyed
Those
that
games are
game.
great, yeah.
Hockey was really good.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like when you think back, I mean, other than Madden, I mean, like the nostalgia of video games is Tecmo Bowl,
Mhm.
and then the football game. I mean, Tecmo Bowl. If you got Bo Jackson in just the right timing, ain't nobody catching Bo,
No.
right?
Hell no.
And then you had Sega Genesis and the football game they had, and that was. I mean, that. Let's just say, I may have missed a lot of classes in my fraternity playing Sega football. And man, Michael Vick was unstoppable.
04 Madden
04 Madden.
is like peak Michael Vick.
Just running around.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would always pick like the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm like, all right, let me play against the Berlin Thunder
Yeah.
or like NFL Euro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
let me pick these dog shit European
The
teams.
faceless like AI players that were just like in there, and yeah.
Starting at quarterback for Berlin, Hans Gruber.
Yeah. My goal when I would play those teams would be I would be like, I'm gonna run up the score so hard that it plays the animation where the fans are leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would look into the crowd and the fans would be like, fuck this.
After the 7th touchdown, that's what happens.
My brothers will appreciate this. Let me ask you this. You're a younger brother. You didn't have brothers, but when you played, you might have played with somebody as a friend that's older.
Mm-hmm.
But if I played any of those football games with my brothers and I was losing, I'd be like, what happened? Oh my God, power went out. Power's out of the stadium. They're calling it. Referee's coming out. No contest.
I will say this, though. The first time I beat my brother in any football game was Madden. We were up late. I was with the Chargers, and he scored a touchdown late, and I had the ball with 4 seconds left, and I threw a Hail Mary to Vincent Jackson.
No way.
And he caught it, and I'm like holding up the analog stick. I'm like, go, 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 go. And he got in the end zone, scored a touchdown. One of the happiest moments of my childhood.
So let's see if your brother is better than me. There might have been a physical altercation after that.
No, my brother
Yeah.
gave me respect. He's
Yeah.
like, hey man, you finally got me.
Yeah.
You finally got me. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that when Vincent Jackson's like, he's at the 40, the 30. Oh, little Heidi's on. Oh, they switched it from NBC. Raiders Jets playoffs no longer. We're going to the movie Heidi.
all right, before we get to our interview with Kennedy Rettew, all you guys, give me your best EA Sports.
The like.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh, I got you. Oh, you want me to go first?
Let's do it.
He pointed at you.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
EA Sports, es en el partido.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
I also liked the that was really good.
Thank you.
I also liked their old just EA games challenge everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts.
Yep.
Post Super Bowl or post like NBA championship, like something great happens. Like, by the way, we never talked about this. I put it on X that the Kansas City Chiefs game-winning play call was what they ran against the Eagles last year for success twice.
Oh my
Corn dog.
God.
Corn dog.
Remember the receiver goes in motion coming one
Yeah,
way, and
yeah.
then the corner comes in, and they don't switch in time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what McCole Hardman did. So Andy Reid called the same play that he beat Philadelphia with last year and beat San Francisco, and it's called corn dog. And you're a food enthusiast, and we never talked about corn dog.
I mean, it also just is poetry that Andy Reid called corn dog to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, not only that, the play call includes ketchup and mustard. He's like, ketchup left, mustard right, or whatever. It's like, put a little ketchup, put a little mustard, put on that corn dog. He had another play. It was a double play. It was either like going to be a shovel pass to Jared McKinnon, which San Francisco, Nick Bosa crashed on it. But it was exactly the same play. And San Francisco, just like Philadelphia, could not deal with the yo-yo motion, which is come in and then go out. But that being said, one of my favorite parts, like that play in particular, is when you listen to like foreign broadcasts of it. So like I heard the Spanish station broadcast and the Korean broadcast. I mean, it's like the level of excitement is unbelievable.
Corn dog.
Yeah.
KS corn dog in Espanol.
Que partido es corn dog, Michael Hardman. Una pase de Patrick Mahomes. Ganamos, Kansas City.
Pero de maíz.
Pero de maíz.
Pero de maíz.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something tells me that might be a little literal there.
Yeah. A dog of the corn.
I think actually, if you went down to South America and asked for a pero de maíz, I think someone's going to grab you a stray dog and a corn cob. They're like, okay, here you go.
Weirdo.
Corn and dog. There it is.
50 pesos, señor, por favor.
All right, that is the first part of our Spears and Ali overtime. Don't forget Spears and Ali presented by Tucson Federal Credit Union, the Volpe team at Nova Home Loans, and Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Huge shout out to our great sponsors. Coming up next, we're going to interview Kennedy Rettew, who's a very incredible sneaker artist.
Hands up real quick. Give me your hands. High five on 3. 1, 2, 3. Bear down. Got him.
I couldn't reach Justin.
Yes,
Not a fan.
That's it. Yeah.
Not a fan.
Yes, you are.
As promised, we have Kennedy Rettew joining Spears and Ali Overtime on ESPN Tucson, and Spears and Ali Overtime, which you can find on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube as well. This is, I believe, our first guest interview that we've done on our YouTube channel, and we have Kennedy Rettew joining us. What's up, Kennedy?
It's good. Doing good. Excited to be here.
So Kennedy, you and I crossed paths on social media because our mutual friend Saul Bookman, he had you on his shows at PHNX Sports to highlight your career and what you do, and you are very talented at what you do.
Thank you so much.
Customize shoes, you customize cleats. You are a pro's pro at what you do. I'm just curious though, how did you get involved in customizing kicks?
Well, funny story actually. So I started when I was 16. It was my COVID project. It was kind of a trend going around on YouTube, and I was kind of looking for something to do. And I tried a pair and I found out I had a knack for it. And at the time, I didn't even have any social media. And it was actually my mom. She posted them on Facebook, and it kind of got some heat with my neighbors. And someone was like, "You need to do this." So I started painting shoes. And then I got my first big client in 2021. I did Michaela Skinner for the Olympics. And then after that, it just kind of blew up.
So what was the very first pair of shoes that you customized?
Like first ever or first for a client?
One that got you started.
Well, I've never posted these. I'm not sure if they're any good, but they were I did a pair of Converse for my little brother, and I painted them white on the sides, and they had like really big red Chinese dragons all over them. And they were just crazy. They got all dripped out. I went crazy on that pair.
And you've evolved over time. You've developed a clientele. What can you share with us? Just some of the athletes and some other notable people that you've had the luxury of working with.
Yeah, of course. Oh gosh, there's so many. I did Michaela Skinner, of course, and then I work pretty closely with the Bozeman's from the Carolina Panthers. Those guys are amazing. I love them. I do their My Cleats, My Cause every year. And I've done Miami Dolphins. I've done a player from there. I've done Diamondbacks. I worked with the Cardinals. I even did my senior year. I did the President of the United States. That was the coolest, probably.
Wait, huh?
My senior year, I was lucky enough. I met the head of security just through circumstances, and she was super nice, and she really wanted to support me in my career, and she made it happen. I even have a letter that he signed for my graduation.
What?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So what went on the shoes?
For the president?
Yeah.
It was so every president, when they come into office, they get a presidential seal that's very unique to them. So on one foot it's his seal, and the other one it's the White House with his dog. They were so cute.
Wow.
Yeah.
With a casual flex. Like I just
I just know the president. No big deal.
I love it. That's awesome. Flex your stuff, Kennedy. And then so it was My Cleats, My Cause. Going back to that.
Yes.
Did the Bozeman's, are they the only ones that have done cleats through you, or have you done My Cleats, My Cause with other people as well?
No, I've done with the Bozeman's, but I've also done the Sealer, Zach Sealer.
Okay.
From the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, he was my client from the Miami Dolphins. And they're such an amazing family too. Seriously, all of these foundations I get to work with, I'm so blessed to be able to know them and get to work with them. It's seriously one of the highlights of my career is getting to know these families.
Well, and to be a part of something like that where these cleats are going towards something good, how does that make you feel?
I love it. Seriously, I love that I get to share, my gift and be able for it to be for such an amazing cause. That's one of my favorite things about my business is that I get to work hand in hand with so many charities that are for such good reasons. And the Bozeman's and the Steelers are just one example of that. I love it's the best, seriously.
Now let's take it back to your life growing up. Where are you from? Talk to us about your family background and where you come from.
So I am from Mesa, Arizona. It's a beautiful area out here. My family's amazing. I have 2 brothers and then my mom and dad, and my mom is actually my momager. I call her my momager. She helps me a lot with my business. It's the best manager I could ever have, right? And yeah, we've always been super involved with sports. I'd say that's probably why my career kind of went that way, is just because my family's always loved it. I've grown up going to Diamondbacks games and Suns games, and it's always just been such a big part of my life. So that's why I kind of pivoted in that direction.
So who are your favorite athletes of all time?
That's so hard to pick them. Definitely Zach Sealer and the Bozeman's.
Okay.
I love Devin Booker. What can I say? I'm a Suns fan through and through.
Have you had any opportunities to work with some Phoenix Suns players?
Actually, yes. So a long time ago, I think it was probably in 21 as well, I got to do Devin Booker when he was first starting out. Yeah.
So this was what year did you say it was?
I think it was 2021, if I remember correctly. It might have been 2022, but yeah, somewhere around then.
So this was pre-contending for an NBA championship, Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. I think it was the year that they kind of did go to the championship. It was the year I think they went against the Bucks.
Okay. And what shoes did you customize for D-Book?
He loves his Converse. So I did a pair of Converse for him, and I kind of dripped him out with like the Suns. They have that kind of grid background with like all the colors. So I used those colors and I kind of made him they were really cool. They had the logo on the sides for the Phoenix Suns. And then I did a picture of him that was super cool. And then I think I did another picture of him and then another big Suns logo. They were really cool.
Where do you get your artistic mind? It's all got to start from somewhere. Not a lot of people have the kind of gift that you have. So where does that come from?
Probably my mom. I would say my mom's super creative in that way. She's great.
Okay. Did you excel in art school or anything like that?
Crazy enough, actually. So I kind of doodled as a kid. It was never really like the biggest thing, and I'd never really like hardcore painted before I started my business, and I've never had an art class. It's just kind of been practice and natural. But yeah, so no, not really any art school.
Okay. And then I've always been curious, following your work, what has been the most difficult challenge that you faced?
I'm really lucky in the way that while it's such a crazy business, it's so busy. I'm sure you've seen it. We're always somewhere doing something.
Yep.
I'm very lucky in the way that I'd say the biggest challenge has been balancing it all. I'm very lucky. My clients are so sweet. I have nothing bad to say about them. I've never had a bad experience, bad interaction, nothing with people. The work has been, I just love it. I'm so passionate about it. And so, yeah, probably balancing school is probably the biggest challenge, school and work.
And what are you going to school for?
I'm full-time at ASU for graphic design.
Okay. Forks up, huh?
Yep. Forks up.
So you going to ASU, I'm sure you run into a lot of ASU athletes. Have you had the chance to, design any cleats or sneakers for ASU athletes?
Yeah, I have actually. Jalen Conyers, he was one of my biggest clients. We had kind of a partnership. He and I would do I did a pair for him for his, he went to a big conference and I did a big pair. His theme is he likes corn. And so I did him some Air Forces that have corn all over them. And I did him a bunch of different pairs of cleats throughout his time at ASU. He was great. And then I did
Okay.
Frankie. He's a basketball player. He's amazing too. I did a pair of his basketball shoes. He wanted them super dripped out with ASU stuff and just some stuff that's personal to him. They turned out really cool too.
Oh, Frankie Collins, ASU star guard.
Yes.
Yeah, who's coming down to Tucson this weekend. Should be a fun game.
That's so cool.
And speaking of the U of A, you've also worked with kicker Cash Peterman.
I have.
Which is a great name, by the way. I mean,
yes.
your first that's pretty cool stuff. And I've noticed that you've done some cleats where it's got some dollar bills on it too, right?
He wanted cash money. That was my description. Just wants cash money. I'm like, I can do that.
And Cash, he's got a pretty large social media following too. He's an influencer, has a very popular Instagram and TikTok account. I'm curious from his accounts and also through other athletes' accounts that you've had the luxury of working with, how much has your social media grown over the last year or so?
Oh, it booms. I'd say last year for sure was like my biggest year of growth. It just exploded last year. It was amazing, seriously. And Cash and all of these athletes, they definitely help with that. I feel like it really gives me like an edge on it almost to be able to say that I worked with all these athletes.
So you're in school for graphic design, but you are amazing at what you do right now. So what's the end game? Where do you see, I know you're still very, how do you see your career just kind of unfolding over the next few years?
I would say for sure, I never want to stop what I'm doing. I always want to make my shoes. I'm trying to find a way to kind of coincide what I'm learning in school with what I'm doing with shoes, which I'm very lucky to have the opportunity to even be able to do that my two things go so hand in hand. But I'd say in the next 5 years or so, I want to open a studio where other artists can come and kind of have that opportunity to be able to have a space where they can do their craft and express themselves. And I would love to be able to have that opportunity and just be able to find a way to implement my graphic design into it. I really want to go into branding, which is kind of something that I get to do as well with my shoe business. I get to make shoes for all kinds of people based on like their brand. And I really like that idea. So I want to kind of move in that direction with it.
And so Kicks by Kenna is kind of the tagline for what you're doing now. What would be the name of the studio? Have you thought about that?
Something creative. I'll say it that way. I'm not sure yet.
I love it. I've always been curious though. You know, you work on Vans, you work on Converse, you work on a lot of sneakers and cleats. Is there a shoe that you haven't worked on that you want to customize?
Gosh, I mean, I've always wanted to do hockey skates. That's been like one thing. I've never done skates. I've even done racing shoes, just no skates.
Wow. Okay, so you need to get in contact with your folks at ASU because ASU's got a pretty good hockey team.
They do.
So yeah, you need to get in contact with some ASU people, maybe some Coyotes, because I think that would be awesome to see some skates. Now, what is the one project that you're just absolutely proud of?
Probably my week at the All-Stars with the MLB. I was lucky enough to be in Seattle for the All-Stars, and I got to be on this panel of just amazing artists, and we got to kind of demonstrate what we do. I was the only female featured artist for the MLB that year, and it's an amazing event, amazing group of people. That was probably I'm just so proud of that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Kennedy Rettew, also known as Kicks by Kenna. You can check her out on Instagram. An amazing, amazing artist who's just chock full of talent. Kennedy, we thank you for your time. Thank you for hopping on with us today.
Thank you.